Christine. Welcome to Book Talk. Today we're discussing A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Months before this came out, all I see on Twitter is ACOTAR. A-C-O-T-A-R. ACOTAR. Over and over again. I had no idea what the F people were talking about. I assumed it was like some acting guild. Every time I see it, I like dyslexically read actor, and it's so confusing. It's the most confusing acronym ever. Every time I try to say it, I'm like, is it ACTAR with an A? If you saw the acronym up on the internet and you're like, what the F is everyone talking about? A Court of Thorns and Roses, Sarah J. Maas. It's about this girl, her name is Feyre. It's spelled really difficult. It's like Sarah was like, let me think of the most difficult, confusingly written names and pronounce them weird, different than they look. There is a key in the back. I know there's a key to how to pronounce things, but it doesn't change the way my head pronounces things once it gets it in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm stuck in my ways. When I start calling Rhysand, his name is now Rhysand. And there's no way it's gonna switch to Rhysand or whatever it is. It's R-H-Y Sand. What were you expecting me to say? You're lucky I didn't start saying Fury. So, A Court of Thorns and Roses was about this girl named Feyre, spelled F-E, spelled Fairy. Fairy. Her name is Fairy with an accent, but she's not a fairy. But there are fairies in this book. The continent that they live on is half fairy, half human, and there's a wall that divides them. I picture it like the wall in Game of Thrones. Fairies are all powerful. I feel like the way that they view them could be compared to the way a lot of different trilogies and series view vampires. They're dangerous, they're powerful. They used to have humans as their slaves, but now there's laws against it. Some fairies still lurk out beyond the wall, and Feyre accidentally kills one, and shit goes down, because you're not allowed to kill fairies. There's romance, there's action. I ended up really enjoying it. I think I give it a 95%. When I compare it to Throne of Glass, it's hard to say which one I enjoyed more. I think Throne of Glass. I like Selena a little more than Feyre. But this book was fabulous, and I'm really excited to continue the series. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Sarah J. Maas has this thing with fairies. She just likes to write about fairies and fairies. They're different sort of supernatural characters, but you don't see fairies as much. I like her fairies, and I usually hate fairies. So in conclusion, there are fairies. A-C-O-T-A-R. Even when I'm looking at the cover, I can't tell you what the acronym is, because it's really confusing in my brain. ACOTAR. That's it for that spoilery section. I think you're gonna really enjoy it and you should read it so we can talk about it. So go and read it and come back and talk about it and we can discuss it together. Okay, I'm gonna go now and then I'm gonna come back and spoil you. That's what I'm doing. Okay, just so you know. Okay, bye. Okay, how does Sarah come up with these names? You look in an ancient fairy text in the library. Rhysand. So the story starts off with Feyre in the forest, and she kills the fairy, and she brings it home to her 2 sisters. I could not believe the dynamic between her and her 2 sisters and her father. I couldn't comprehend the oldest sister being the way she was. I couldn't comprehend the youngest sister having to care for them like she was. How they're complaining to her when she comes back and she's the only one giving them food. As the oldest sister, I could never, ever stand by and let that happen. Ever in a million years. I don't understand. Why doesn't she try to help her? Nesta, in those first 2 chapters, I wanted to punch her silly. I could not stand that girl. And I'm really happy with how their story arc. Like, I was just trying to figure out what could make her act that way. I mean, I could see how she could be upset by the fact that her youngest sister has to take care of her. She's so stubborn and prideful that she won't ask the younger sister to help her. It was just such a weird, uncomfortable dynamic. I just didn't know what to do with myself when I was reading it. I was like, please get to the part where we leave them forever. The story really started picking up for me when Tamlin busted down the door and was like, roar, you must come with me. As famous as the Beauty and the Beast story is, and when I say the story, I just mean the Disney movie, I forgot everything that happens in Beauty and the Beast other than the fact that Belle has to live with the Beast. Like, I forgot the curse, I forgot everything ever about everything except for the fact that the people in the castle were turned into things and the Beast was a beast. So I didn't really see the whole big secret until the whole big secret was revealed. Like, I knew that there was something to do with love, but I didn't know the parameters for it. I love the background that Sarah J. Maas built for it. The whole backstory about Amantha and her sister and the human her sister fell in love with and everything. It flowed so well into the story. I really liked that. So we go to Tamlin's spring court. I thought the courts were interesting too, how there's like all the seasons and then there's dawn and night and day. This whole fairy political system is interesting. There's like 7 high fays, high lords of the fae, and they're deemed with really extra special powers. After finishing the book, I'm more interested in how they got deemed high lords. You know what I'm saying? I guess, is it all through the parentage, or do you earn it through your powers? Can some poor schmuck fae be like, whoa, I'm really powerful, and then become high fae? Do you have to kill like the other high fae and they become the high fae like in a werewolf pack? How does it work? So we go to the spring court, and she's like obsessed with escaping, even though we know it's bad to escape. Tamlin told her that her family's being taken care of. She goes and catches that stupid surreal thing. At that whole surreal part, I was just like, you're so dumb. Why? Why must you do this? What questions are you gonna ask? There are so many weird different species of fairy. It unsettles me. I'd like to see like a map of the species of fae. Like we see a map of the species of monkey/ape when we learned about evolution. So shall we talk about the ships? A huge thing with Throne of Glass is the ships. You know I ship Solarian for life. Now with A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's different for me. And I know a lot of people have been asking me like, who you ship, Christy, who you ship? There's just so much controversy amongst the shippers. First there was Dorian and Kale, and now we have Rhysand and Tamlin. And as of right now, I'm not like 100% sold on either ship. Like Tamlin, we have Tamlin, and I like when he was like trying to court Feyre, she kept just shutting him down, and he kept being like, we could do this, we could do this. She's just like, no, I hate you. But he obviously wanted to try to create a relationship with her because she fulfilled all the specific requirements of the fucking curse that he's been sitting on for like 50 years. Right now, I'm leaning more towards Tamlin, but I could be swayed. I'm not like when I was with Dorian and I was like, I love him and he's my ship and I know he's gonna win. I'm like, I don't know, I like the way Tamlin courted her. It was so nice, and I love that he plays violin and that they danced together and he took her to that rainbow unicorn blood lake. I love that rainbow unicorn blood lake, and I was like, let's go swimming, and they go swimming and they watch the sunrise together. I love the art when they go on the date to the art section of the house, and I just think it's so cute, and I think it's so stupid that he sent her away 3 days before the curse time limit was up. It was so dumb. But she was just about to say it. She was just about to say, I love you. What are you doing? You're self-destructed. This is the stupidest. And it's not like she would even be safe in the human world because Rhysand could come and hunt her down for a month, because they know she exists, and it's stupid. It was stupid. When she was going home, I was just like, no, we're going back to those bitches. I don't want to go back to those bitches. I'm done with them. I mean, I'm glad we went back in retrospect just because now I have some more respect for Nesta. I love that we found out that she went to try and find her. It actually brought tears to my eyes. And when she left her sisters for the second time and she talked to Nesta, and Nesta was really there for her and understood and told her not to come back because we can take care of ourselves. It touched my heart, and I had tears in my eyes when she left. But that doesn't change that whole ploy was so stupid. Not ploy, just that stupid plan. He was just like, oh, I need to protect you, when I could protect myself, you, and the world if you just say I love you before the curse is up. And I know he was like, well, Amantha would find some way to kill her. Well, how could she if you had your powers back and you could kill her first? How? She obviously was afraid of them when the powers come back, because she was like, please no, as soon as they got their powers back. And Tamlin was like, huh, bitch, stab, rip throat out, dead, impaled. What? It took about a minute for that to happen once he got his powers back. So, now we have our other ship, Rhysand, High Lord of the Night Court. The first time we saw him, he kind of steps in to save the day when Feyre is stupid and gets lured out to the fairy sex ceremony to get the kingdom ready for spring. But the next time we see him, he's like digging his fingers into her brain, talking about all her dirty thoughts, embarrassing her in front of Tamlin, which is uncomfortable. Then she gets captured under the mountain and she has to do her tasks. He makes her sell herself to him. Because she's dying, he says, I'll heal you if you sell yourself to me for 1 week every month for the rest of your entire life. I don't know what that says about a person. You couldn't just heal her? You couldn't. He reminded me of Rumpelstiltskin. I'll give you a baby if you name it after me, and ha. I don't like it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure something's gonna happen between the two of them because he imprinted on her at the end of the book. I don't know how I feel about him as a person. Maybe he'll change now and he could have a complete 180. You never know. But during this book, I don't see how I could really ship him when he treats her half-assed. He does do nice things. He is in a way protecting her by claiming her like that and being able to take care of her. You know, he takes her to all his parties and he drugs her, and in a way, like, it's a blessing. She just gets to get through the day without remembering it and it's over. But he's drugging her every night. He paints her so no one touches her, but I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. Also, with them, we got some Horcrux shit going on. He took a little piece of her soul. 1 week a month of her soul is inside him or something. Some fucking shit with that eyeball. And does he have a piece of himself inside her? Because he was really upset at the end. He was like, Farah! And I'm like, you and Farah aren't that close yet, okay? It's just like, let's just, why are you screaming like that? Sarah planted the imprinting process with fairies very, very nicely. She kind of mentions it in the beginning about Lucian and the girl that he loved and how they were waiting for like that bond to set in, but it didn't yet. And then it's not obvious, but it happens at the end when we have that weird thing where Rhysand just disappears. He's like all shocked. Oh fuck. He just imprinted on her. Now I wonder if the bond extends to her as well, because I don't think it's exactly the same as Twilight, although the end of the book was very Breaking Dawn for me. We had the transformation into a vampire. We had the imprinting. When they all came and they were dropping those little dots on her of sparkle glitter, all the High Lords. Is she turned into a fairy? And then she's dead. And I was like, what? She's like, everything's clear. And I was like, oh my god. Hashtag Breaking Dawn moments. Yeah, I'm happy she turned into a fae. It works out better, so she doesn't just die and everyone lives forever. I mean, it had to happen, kind of, for any of these love bonds to truly work out. I wonder who else was a human before they turned into a fae. It's a rare gift, but like, do we know someone who this happened to? Will we meet someone who this happened to that Feyre will be able to relate to? The Horcrux stuff does kind of irk me. I don't know who she means to be Endgame, but if you look at the story of Beauty and the Beast is Endgame. She has this really strong love with Tamlin, but I don't know how imprinting works. I'm just thinking Jacob, and they be whatever you need them to be, and I don't know. I don't know more shit. Like, I could be swayed. Like, Rhysand could sway me. He's more interesting as a character to us because we don't know much about him. We don't know about his past with Tamlin, because it seems like they used to be best friends. It reminds me a lot of the Vampire Daughters. There's the Daemon and there's the Stefan, but I like Tamlin better than I ever liked Stefan because Tamlin's more interesting than Stefan. Stefan is boring. I don't like Stefan. I like Stefan, but like, I don't like him with Elena. I don't know who I ship, and it's really conflicting. Everyone is so strong with who they're feeling, and I can't take a side yet, and I don't like it. When does the next book come out? Next year? I'm really interested in learning more about the Horcrux that he plastered onto Feyre. I don't understand exactly what this means. Like, has he done this to other people, or is this special for Feyre? What happened between him and Tamlin that made them hate each other? Because they used to be friends. You know, I want to know about that history. I want to know what happened. Should we talk about Amantha, or should we just talk about how Amantha's name is Samantha without an S? She's our villain. I don't like her. And she dies, so I'm happy with that. I end up really loving Lucian. I love how snarky and how loyal he is, chilling on the sidelines. And then after Feyre and Tamlin kiss, they're at the breakfast table, and he's like, you two didn't come home last night. And they look at each other, and she's like, a few kisses aren't gonna scare me away, blah, 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 blah. They start kind of like flirting, and Lucian's sitting on the sidelines like, oh god, Cauldron, spare me. You know what really pissed me off? Why didn't Feyre take the time to learn to effing read while she was trapped in this castle for 3 months? She starts it and then she's like too prideful to sit and learn to read. You need to learn to read. And then of course at the end there's a reading challenge, and I'm just like, I told you to learn to read, but you didn't listen. So stupid. It also creeps me out about Rhysand, how he has like complete control over everyone's mind, and that's just like a little smidget of his abilities usually. But he's just like an all-powerful mind-controlling overlord in his normal state. What does that even mean? It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. He's scary. He could have complete control over her. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. What could he do to Tamlin? Tamlin is scared of him. When it comes to brute strength versus strength over the mind, a mind strength is gonna win because if you can't move, you're not gonna get to him. He's just gonna destroy your brain. I don't like that. You know what I really liked about the story though? I just thought it was so funny that they were all stuck wearing masquerade ball masks, because in the beginning we don't know why, and they're just wearing them, and she's like, oh, must be like some fairy trend here in the spring court, and he's like, no, we went to a masquerade party, and then some magic blight went down, and now they're stuck on our faces forever. Because humans are obsessed with beauty, and it'd be even harder to find a mate with your face covered. Proved you wrong, bitch. Going back to Rhysand, we know he kind of is a good person. He tells Amantha about Feyre, but he gives her the fake girl and lets Amantha believe it's the real girl. So he's kind of protecting her. And he is protecting her during the trials because he's like, don't push that lever, pull this lever. So in the Underground Mountain, of course, we're giving these 3 tasks. She's like, well, I'll give you 3 tasks. Or you can answer a riddle and I'll let you go instantaneously. And while she's negotiating this, she's thinking about, like in her head, oh, what does she mean instantaneously? But she doesn't say out loud, what do you mean instantaneously? I don't know if I know from reading so many fairy books or riddles and crap, or it's just common sense, because it seems like common sense and you should know to say that I want everyone to come out alive. We all have to be alive and healthy. And she didn't specify. And I was like, you could just all be dead and she'll let you go. You're such a dumb fairy negotiator. I really enjoyed the giant worm task. It was super fun to read and to watch, but it was really disgusting when she came out of it and she was like, oh look, there's my bone popping out of my arm. And then we have the 3rd task when they bring out the fairies with their heads covered. I thought for a second it was gonna be her family, that she would have to kill them, but it turns out it's just some random fairies. And then of course the last one is Tamlin. Didn't see that one coming. Did you catch though? They did like a Hunger Games salute to her before the 3rd one or after the 3rd one, sometime during the 3rd task. And I was like, oh, look at them reading the Hunger Games in their realm, or just having the same salute thing. Maybe this is a thing from like history that I just don't know about. Back to the Rhysand Feyre Horcrux thing. I'm really curious as to if it works kind of like a Horcrux or if it works like a Bond and like in Vampire Academy, because it feels like a combination of both. And if it's a combination of both, that's crazy. It's just crazy. How could he do that? His powers are scary. I don't know how I feel, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I have to get to know him better. I don't hate Rhysand, and I don't know where I stand. Right now, if this is a scale and this side is Tamlin and this side is Rhysand, I'm like this. So I'm like leaning toward Tamlin, but like I love Daemon and I could see him becoming a Daemon-like character, and I'm talking about Daemon from the Vampire Diaries, and I just don't know. It pains me to not know. But I'm not gonna take a stand until I feel strongly about one or the other. None of them are Dorian, so we'll see after the 2nd book. I'm really excited to keep reading. I'm excited to see what happens to Feyre now that she's a high fae, like her adjusting to high fae life. Should be fun to watch. And I don't know if we'll get to see what happened to her family. It's gonna be interesting to see that first week she's forced to spend with Rhysand. Is she gonna have kids? Is she gonna get pregnant with one of their childs? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know where this is gonna go, because like Sleeping Beauty, because Beauty and the Beast is over already. The Beast is already unbeasted, and so what's gonna happen? I don't have as many theories with this one as I did with Throne of Glass. There's more mystery because this fairy world is so different. But I'm excited. I love to hear your thoughts, your feels, if you have any theories. I'm Christine. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.